just for us. God bless her. Generally, we give the other side, you know, the asshole, a chance to be heard. They make their point, we make fun of it. If we wrote a bunch of nice letters inviting several authorities from the Catholic Church to come on and share their opinion. But for some reason or another, they all declined. Maybe it was the bullshit letterhead. Then we get to thinking, hey, the Catholic Church has been making its point for 2,000 years, testifying by means of encyclicals, Vatican decrees, and other papal bulls. All we'll do tonight is a measly 30-minute cross-examination. Should God be able to defend himself? So let's get this party started with the man who puts the asshole in Catholic, Pope Benedict XVI. He's arguably the most powerful man in the world, and in Rome, home to the Vatican, everyone loves the Pope, right? Not this woman. She may not be the supreme pontiff, but in Italy, she's almost as famous. A comedian and performance artist with a strong political point of view. She's Chris Rock meets George Carlin, except with breasts and a cool, sexy accent.
Hello, my name is Sabina Guzanski. I'm a political satirist. I'm a director, filmmaker, and I live in Rome, Italy.
Sorry, Sabina. Your English is great, and we don't even know a second language, but we're going to have to add subtitles so no one misses a word of your amazing story. A story that captivated all of Italy in the summer of 2008. Sabina, known for her anti-government beliefs, was invited to appear at a political demonstration.
And I gave a speech about many things, and one of those things was the Vatican intruding in our policies. I just went to stage thinking, let's try to see what's happening, just say what I think naturally, with natural words, you know, with common language. And business happened, but people were very enthusiastic.
But the pro-Catholic Italian government was not. Pressured intensely by the Vatican, the courts threatened to charge Sabina with the equivalent of slander. Against whom, you ask? Pope Benedict himself.
I think the current Pope is a very, very right-wing Pope, and so his reputation is getting more and more disgusting here. I thought I had to say something.
But what did she say? What would have infuriated the Pope so much that he'd attempt to silence one of Italy's most famous celebrities by throwing her sexy ass in jail? To fully appreciate what Sabina said, we have to learn a bit more about the Vatican and Pope Benedict.
He seems to be intent on taking the church back as fast as he can to the early 17th century.
Keith Wood is executive director of the National Secular Society in London, which protects the rights of atheists and agnostics.
I have to say that I've been entirely wrong about this Pope. I thought that the last one was as bad as they could get, but the current Pope has demonstrated that he can be much worse than his predecessor.
How? Well, let's start with the Vatican's shameful behavior in 2008 at the UN.
Several nations, led by France and the other members of the European Union, introduced a resolution that would decriminalize people for being gay in countries around the world. And the Vatican opposed that.
Jeff Stone, I'm from the gay Catholic group Dignity USA.
They claimed that it would lead to same-sex marriage, but it had nothing to do with same-sex marriage. It was really just a question of making it legal to be gay so that people couldn't be persecuted, as they have been in many countries, and simply thrown in jail.
A gay Catholic seems like a Jewish Nazi to us, but what he's saying matters. There are still 81 countries where it's illegal to be gay, and 7 where you can actually be put to death for it. The Vatican seems to be okay with that. Maybe that's just a wee bit hypocritical.
One of the most basic teachings of the Catholic Church is that all people are children of God and that they're entitled to dignity and respect. So it seems that the Church is not really living up to that ideal.
And the almost ultimate irony is that I do not know of an organization anywhere that has such a high proportion of gay people in its employ.
Well, the bullshit staff, but he doesn't know that. According to some studies, anywhere between 20 to 50% of all priests may be gay.
So the misery that must be being caused by this nasty man in Rome is almost without parallel.
Believe it or not, the Vatican's official position is that it's not a sin to be gay. They have no idea how anyone might have gotten that impression. However, it is a sin to engage in any sexual activity outside of marriage, and since gay people can't get married, any homosexual funny business is grounds for eternal damnation. Gay activists claim that paradox is kind of like saying it's okay to be a bird as long as you don't fly. And how does that feel? We'd ask a penguin, but she seems to be a little busy. Hey, there's our friend Sabina, walking the streets of Rome. She's lived in the city since she was a child and believes the Vatican is determined to get into everyone's business.
They are in the news every day saying what the folks think about everything, about each law, about private life of citizens, lots of declaration against gay people, against people which are not married, so they are like Islamic, basically.
Today, Sabine is a free woman, but for a while it appeared her headline-making criticism of the Vatican would land her in an Italian prison.
When I gave this speech in the square, I attacked many powers in this country, but the church was one of them, and the church was furious for what I said.
That's because Sabina's speech involves some blasphemous commentary. Which we'll translate for you later on. But why would the Vatican make such a point of going after a satirist?
What they wanted to show is something like I said couldn't be unpunished.
But why? Isn't Italy a democratic republic? You know, a free country?
It's not a free country, actually, at all. Right now, there's no freedom of expression, but we will take it back, and I like to fight.
And we follow Sabina into her next map, a one-woman show that very night before sold-out crowds. Here, she'll bravely revisit her controversial remarks that got her into trouble before. But Sabina's not the only one the Vatican would like to silence.
I'm Jewel Castick, survivor of sexual abuse in the Catholic Church. The number one goal of every bishop, and a part of the vows that they take when they become bishop, is to protect the church from scandal. And protecting the church from scandal means that documents, witnesses, and victims are kept quiet and shuffled away.
Castick is a regional director for SNAP, a survivors network for people who've been abused by priests. She's still angry that her abuser has never been brought to justice.
It was protected from the exact same system that protects all these priests, which includes ordinances in the Vatican, which require that every diocese have secret personnel files that no one gets a hold of.
Those files are kept on every priest ever accused of sex abuse against a child. They're kept confidential, not to protect the victim, to protect the priest. Yeah.
The greatest hypocrisy in the church today is that child protection is not the most important thing. Patrick J. Wall, senior consultant, law firm of Manley and Stewart.
Wall is a former priest who now works for a law firm that prosecutes sex abuse cases involving the church. His firm's been swamped since the bombshell discovery of a secret Vatican document in 2003. It's called the crime of enticement, which they discreetly write in Latin.
Crimen Solicitationis is an interesting document published in 1962. It is an order to all archbishops, bishops, cardinals, and heads of religious orders on how to exactly deal with an accusation of childhood sexual abuse by a cleric.
So, how did this confidential document come to light? Did Jesus return and expose the Vatican's little secret?
There was a priest on the west coast here of California